Pertaining to the case of client XYZ, I would suggest focusing on the social learning theory. This theory attempts to clarify the idea that people have the power to take control over how their environment influences them. So client XYZ is currently split up from his wife, but they still live in the same home with their 2 kids and have a 3rd baby on the way, and he's an alcoholic. I definitely believe that social learning theory has a couple of strengths to offer to both the client and their social worker. A strength that's offered to the client is just discussing the theory in itself, I think, is a strength because it's very empowering to talk about how you have the power to take control over how your environment will influence you. And I think it motivates the client to take control over how their environment will influence them and change it to a positive influence towards their goal. And a strength for the social worker is you're able to discuss the role models in your client's life because according to this theory, role models are vital towards the development of personalities. So it's definitely a strength to talk about their role models because when you discover these people in their lives that influence them, you're able to see who it is that's influenced them to take positive steps towards sobriety or negative steps towards continued alcoholism. So the social learning theory states that humans learn from observing other human beings. So keeping this in mind, a couple of questions I would ask my client is if his parents were drinkers while he was growing up. And I would ask this because if he were to observe his parents turning to alcohol when they were stressed or upset or frustrated, then he might have learned that after observing his parents do it and then turn to alcohol too when he felt those emotions later on in his life. Another question I might ask is what the relationship is like with his wife. I know they're split up, but they still live in the same home, so they have to interact in some ways. So I would just question, is their relationship hostile? Are they friendly towards one another? And I would want to discuss this because according to the social learning theory, client XYZ would be greatly influenced by the people around him, which would be his wife. And so if he were not feeling welcome at home, he might choose to be in the presence of people who would not be a positive influence on his steps towards sobriety. So a plan of work I would suggest for my client is couples counseling because there is a limitation with social learning theory, and I believe that the limitation is a prediction that the wife would feel that this is an unjust situation that we're putting her in. We are asking her to be a cooperative support system for her husband, and we're asking her to be the sober human that he can observe and learn from. And, she might feel that this is unfair because he is an alcoholic, so she might believe that he chose alcohol over his family, so, why would she even want to talk to him? So I predict that she might feel this is unjust, which is why I would suggest couples therapy or couples counseling so that that counselor can introduce to them the ecological systems theory, which is the theory I would bring in to fill in the gaps of the social learning theory. I would bring in this theory because it focuses on the holistic nature of the social environment that this couple shares, which is their home. So hopefully this will help them understand that their home environment operates under a reciprocal lifestyle, meaning that every member of their family is greatly influenced and shaped by every other member of the family. So overall, by discussing the social learning theory, we hope the client will understand that he has the power to take control over how his environment influences him. So because of this, we hope his wife will be a cooperative support system that he can observe and learn from and obtain a sober lifestyle, hopefully. But because of the limitations of the social learning theory, I predict that she will think this is unjust, which is why I would suggest couples counseling so that the ecological systems theory can be introduced to them so they can learn about the holistic nature of their social environment within their home. I believe that this resource will also provide them with an opportunity to discuss their common goals and the milestones that they will need to achieve to reach their overall goals. And I believe that a mediator or a couples counselor will be able to help them keep track of those. So I believe that the social learning theory combined with couples counseling and also the ecological systems theory will enhance the possibility of client XYZ's sobriety, resulting in the reuniting of their family. And I believe the sobriety will also help their family save money, which will help project him onto the track of furthering his education by, using his leadership skills and also possibly his culinary arts skills to go back to school and further his education and just better their family in general.